up, y'all? How y'all doing? This brother Hot Tip coming at you live and direct. Well, my fault. If you're listening to the podcast, it's not live and direct. I am now recording the show so that the people that listen to me on speaker can have a quality sound, a quality show. Because what was happening for the last couple of weeks is that when I would try to broadcast live, it would get cut and chopped up because the signal would keep dropping, and I wanted to make sure that I'm giving people a quality sound that they deserve, especially those that's been following me on Spreaker. Alright, so those of you that's on Facebook, I want to thank you for tuning in. Those that are interested in joining the show, I'm going to post up the phone number so that you can call in, so that we can have a conversation about what's going on in the world. Of course, you know, first we're going to hit the news. And then after we hit the news, we're going to get straight into it. I want to welcome you to Tribal Quotes. The number for the people that want to call in is 614-556-4535. Once again, that is 614-556-4535. Alright, so in the news, something I've heard about and I want to really discuss is this group called Black Bloc, or I don't know if it's really a group, but I want to really look at this, and I want you to pay close attention to this group, Black Bloc protest strategy. I don't know if it's a group or it's a strategy, but we're going to read a little bit about it before we get into the Proverbs, because what's crazy to me is that I want you to look at this strategy that is being used in protests. And I want you to look at how they talk about the young people that are doing this, because it's just young people, young white kids who dress themselves up in black and tear shit up. Right? But don't let it be a Black Lives Matter protest. And we got all types of thugs and hooligans. These kids or these young adults, we don't even know because they're masked, but we can look and we can see the little cuts of skin. There's a bunch of West Asians running, tearing stuff up. And, I'm not hearing the same rhetoric against them that I'm hearing for something like a Black Lives Matter. Now, you might not agree with Black Lives Matter as far as the membership or whatever, but I don't think they've been tearing shit up. You know what I'm saying? These, like those of you that might not know what I'm talking about, they were the group that protested in Berkeley, California. This was the strategy that was used in Berkeley, California against Milo Yiannopoulos. People test controversial Breitbart writer Milo Yiannopoulos at UC Berkeley on February 1st. A scheduled speech by Yiannopoulos was canceled after the protest became violent. So these individuals don't even use the strategy of nonviolence, and they are talked about a lot differently than those individuals that look like myself. I'll protest. It was the first Black Bloc for Neil Lawrence, a third-year undergraduate student at the University of California, Berkeley. I'm reading from Newsweek. He had demonstrated with Black Lives Matter and seeing people in bandanas show up at events and smash things. But after Berkeley, college Republicans announced controversial Breitbart News editor Milo Yiannopoulos, who is a character in himself, you really need to check him out, will be speaking on campus. Lawrence decided it was time for a more aggressive form of protest. It became clear to me and my close friends that the tone of living in America is changing, and in order to stop being scared, we started organizing. He says, I, a transgender Jew, don't have a problem with violence against fascists. So, I want you to check out this whole Black Bloc strategy. I want you to check out how this group or this strategy is talked about. I want you to compare it to the lingo that's being used against groups like Black Lives Matter, right? Groups that come out with a nonviolent strategy, who start off with a nonviolent strategy, and sometimes you get people inside the crowd that may act out, right? This wasn't a plan, but the Black Bloc, their whole strategy is to tear shit up. Period. All right. So I want y'all to look and know what you think. Now, what we're gonna do is, of course, I have to remind you that you are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. I am your host, Brother High Tim, and of course, right now you are listening to Tribal Quotes, and this is a Heart of a Simba production. Drive. Let's blow up the old thing. Alright, so before we really get deep into the show, before any conversation can happen, I gotta go on and take up my last little bit. Well, maybe not the last. I might have a little bit left for my toast in the morning. Oh, no. All of my magic beat is gone. Actually, it's the mystery beat. All of it is gone. Of course, you know the show is brought to you by Gye-Nyame Journey. Gye-Nyame Journey. That Ambrose. Okay. Cool, refreshing. Alright. Oh man, so it's been one of those kind of weeks for me, man. It's hard because I'm getting up a little bit earlier so I can go and produce my my daily vlog, the Daily Toast. I want to invite you out to check it out. You don't have to get up as early as I do. Just check it out. And like I said, like, subscribe, but most importantly, share. We have to go on and start working to get the word out, fam. You know what I'm saying? We're living in a different time. We're living in a different era with different weapons. And we got to start learning how to use these weapons for our upliftment. You know what I'm saying? Because I constantly stress, and I'm trying to wrap my mind around the concept of this whole generational piece, right? Because it's like I'm feeling a little bit more anxious about the future, you know what I'm saying, and my responsibility, because I'm starting to honestly think that the idea that I gave y'all a few weeks ago as far as being generational people is an actual fact for me. It's becoming real for me. What do I mean? The way that I lead the world and the way that I lead my family is the way that I will return to it. You understand what I'm saying? So if I just act like stuff is okay and let things go on and allow my kids to struggle and allow my kids to walk down the same path without questioning, like I did in many ways, allow them to fall for some of the same traps, that when I return back to this planet through my bloodline, no matter how many generations it is from now, I am going to have to suffer for that, right? It is each of our responsibility. I believe it's each of our responsibility to make sure that the generation after us, the generations after us, has it better, right? That's our responsibility. I gotta fix this light, man. I hope there's too much light on that dark skin. You know, because that dark skin eat up that light. You know what I'm saying? You know, oh, I know what the problem is. Hold on. But what I thought was the problem is not the problem. Alright. Now that's not better at all. Let me try to move my camera just a little bit. Oh, I know what else the problem is. Hold on. I'm trying to fix the light, fam. Alright. Yeah. that's a little bit better. All right. So I'm not trying to belabor the point, but you know, so it's been rough. It's been rough. So I'm trying to get used to it. I'm my own producer. I'm my own writer. I'm my own cameraman. You know what I'm saying? So go and check it out. Join the toast. You know what I'm saying? And you know, part of it is because I want to definitely leave the world better for those coming after, for those that's, you know what I'm saying, for those unspoken for future generations. All right. So I want to send shots out to Sa, brother Sa. Thank you for joining us. Sister Stephanie, thank you for joining me. I want to send shots out to my Uncle Carl. Thank you for stopping in. So right now, what I'm going to do is real quick, we're going to get into the Proverbs of the week. We got 3 of them picked from the African Opener's Tree of Life. Actually, we don't pick them. They fall right in order. And I'm quite sure they will not disappoint. Alright. First one. Say the knowledge holders, aging is not dying, but coming to seed. That's Proverb 1. Proverb number 2. Say the knowledge holders, death is always a signal for rebirth. My fault. Say the knowledge holders, death is always a signal for birth. Wow. Number 3. Say the knowledge holders, and rituals are life formula. We about to talk, fam. We about to talk. Share the pod because this is gonna be a life changer. Last one, because we're gonna do 4 because this is the last part of this chapter and it's the last one left. So I'm gonna try to cover this one. Say the knowledge holders, in life is experience for wisdom. This makes time a matter of degree if one understands one's own clock. Say the knowledge holders. Listen, I'm going to give y'all a second. Call your friends. This is going to be a life changer. Class is in session. Alright, now, I want to do one more thing before we get into it. I want to run down. Let's see what's posted on Gye-Nyame Journey Facebook page. Gye-Nyame Tribe Facebook page. Love you too, Aunt. I appreciate you just stopping in. Bearing the language, because you know I be cussing, so I appreciate you just peeking your head in every now and then. Alright, so if you go to Gye-Nyame Journey, you're going to see all my videos popping up. Alright, this is the end. Okay, now, one video I wanted to make sure everybody see. This is the income inequality video CEOs don't want America to see. This was put together by the Young Turks. I think it's important that a lot of y'all look at this because right now there is a wealth gap that is growing in America that is outpacing maybe all of the problems. We got CEOs making over 300 times what the average worker makes in their company. And I know some of y'all believe that that's the way it should be. But the fact of the matter is the CEO, especially if they didn't build the company, especially if they didn't create the company, right, are nothing but glorified managers that are making over 300 times. So this means for every $1 that the average worker makes, the CEO is making over 300. Now, I want you to look at the amount CEOs all over the world are making compared to their workers. America's is ridiculous. The wealth gap is growing, and we have to understand the middle class have been frozen out, and many of us who have come up in the middle class are finding it very hard to even keep up with the standard of living that our parents presented us with. You know what I'm saying? And we have to understand that America is going through a major shift, right? Because right now it's a corporate stockracy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, right? Because now corporations are basically living beings, but they don't have to bear the same tax burden you do. They don't have to bear the same, you know what I'm saying? They are getting over. And right now, right, if we don't stop it right now, we will be moved into a deeper level of peonage. Please understand. Please understand, right? I need y'all to really understand this. Listen to. Right now, it might not be as bleak as for many of you. But I want y'all to really realize and understand what is meant when people say you are one paycheck away from starvation, one paycheck away from homelessness, one paycheck away from all types of problems. And then you're working for a CEO. You're working for an individual that's making 300 times as much as you. How many paychecks away from homelessness is he or she? And are they really worth the amount of money that they are being paid? Right? All these laws that's been enacted to protect business has not been to protect business. It's been to protect the wealthy, right? That 10%, then that 10% protect that 1%. They hell with the rest of us. We got to understand this, man. So I want to get back to these. My fault. Let's go back down through the timeline. Of course, more of my videos popped up. One of my favorite shows. If you don't have YouTube Red, you probably won't be able to see it. But it's a show called, I think it's Minefield or something like that, by this group called Vsauce. And they did a show on free choice, asking the question, do we really have free choice? I want you to check out the show, because on there they they basically raised the question, how do we know when we are truly making a free choice that we could, how do we really know we're making free choices? How do we know that our choices are not influenced by all the stuff that is going on around us, and how we know that stuff that's going on around us is not put in place to make us make the decisions that we're making? Right? Alright, so here we go. I'm going to start with number 1. Say the knowledge holders. Aging is not dying but coming to see. Now, this one is important. Why is it important? Because at one point in time, it wasn't important to me. Because when I first started reading this book, I wasn't even worried about it. Because I was young. I was in my early 20s. And I was like, I ain't got to worry about that one. Right? But in our African tradition, we looked at aging differently. We looked at dying differently. We looked at the world differently. Right? We came from a center that was our own. Now we're off center and we're being forced to look at somebody else's reality. We've been forced to look at the world in another person's or another people's way. And that's not healthy for us. Right? Because like, for example, in martial arts, if I'm in a battle with somebody, I'm able to take their focus, and I'm able to take them off their center and get them to start coming around my center, to get them to start doing things in the way that I want them to do. I'm going to control the fight. I'm going to destroy that individual. My whole goal in the fight is to get somebody off center, is to get them out of their game, is to get them focused on the reality that I'm painting for them within that battle. Because if they fall into my trap, I can destroy them, right? And in a sense, this is what's happening to us with our worldview, right? We have been snatched into seeing the world from another person's perspective. Like yesterday, we talked about Kuji Chagalia. Today is collective worker responsibility. One of our responsibilities is to snatch back our worldview. Learning how to see the world properly in the way that we used to, right? Of course, updating it some, but learning how to see the world from our perspective, right? So now, going back to this proverb, the proverb says, aging is not dying, but coming to seed. What does that mean, Brother Hatim? Now, in our tradition, aging was not looked upon as a negative thing, right? In this Western culture, we have been taught to focus on youth. Try to stay as young as you can for as long as you can, right? You know what I'm saying? We ain't even talking about just the health aspect of youth. Our whole mind state has been shaped and molded to start looking at youth and worshiping youth as if it's something well, as if it's the be all to end all. You know what I'm saying? But in our culture, in our ancient culture, all throughout Africa, all throughout, I mean, even in North America prior to the incursion of the West Asian, is this. Aging is coming to seed. Because as we age, we start gaining experience. And with this thing called experience, we start gaining wisdom, right? And we value eldership. We value the fact that we was able to get old. You know what I'm saying? It was an honor for me to have survived life. You know what I'm saying? To survive the struggle and have this experience so that I could be able to gift it to the next generation so that their lives will be a little bit easier. This gets back to what I'll be talking about when I say we are a generational people. So when you think about yourself as a generational person, rather than just a single being that was put here to fend for yourself and do the best that you can and try to live as long as you can, because this is the mindset that they want you in, right? We're obsessed with trying to live longer. We're obsessed with trying to stay looking young, rather than being willing to embrace the beauty of aging, the power of aging, the gift of aging, right? You're not supposed to be able to run as fast as the young people. You're not supposed to be as strong as the young people, because that's a young people game. That's what they're supposed to do. Now you're supposed to dispense wisdom to them. Like when I was coming up, I used to help Elder Brother Nomo on the food co-op, and I always bring this up, man. Elder Nomo used to look at me hoisting these boxes around, and he'd be sitting down, he'd be like, boy, you need to stop. You need to start learning how to work smart, not hard. Look how hard you work. Look, you're going to wear your back out. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to dispense wisdom to me, and I'm sitting up here laughing, you know what I'm saying? But when I think back on it, it was him imparting wisdom on me, right? Him enjoying being able to teach me something. Dude, you're going to hurt your back. I done hurt my back. Basically, is what I done hurt my back. You know what I'm saying? Now you about to do the same thing. I'm watching you. You're not going to listen, right? And then in a culture like this, I want you to understand, when the people look forward to aging, when the people look forward to coming to seed, as this proverb says, when they do, what happens to the youth is that the youth start looking forward to aging, and they start looking at the elders and start respecting them and start, in a sense, treating them as a treasure. Or unlike we do in our culture, we treat our elders as a burden. Why? Because the society has primed us to discard the elders. Why? Because the elders might be able to impart some wisdom on you to get you free. I want you to understand, how did the Lord of the North Star travel down through our people when we were caught in captivity? You know what I'm saying? There wasn't no young smart person that just all of a sudden came up with that shit. No, it was generations and generations of people watching people being able to disappear, and they knew that they got free somehow. And how did they do it? They looked at the patterns. We looked at nature. That was wisdom that passed down. You want to go, you follow that. You follow that star that comes right after that drinking pail. You know what I'm saying? Wisdom. You know what I'm saying? As you get older, you receive the gift of wisdom from life. And it's your job to dispense that wisdom. And it's everybody else's job to support that. Not to put that away. Not to hide it. Our elders are so sick right now. A lot of our elders are sick right now because we put them in a position where you quote unquote retired. You know what I'm saying? I could just put you on the shelf. I could just leave you alone. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you earned your rest. You know what I'm saying? I want you to think about where this came from too, right? Because they used to do the same thing back in captivity. When you got too old to work, Master will put your little cabin way out somewhere, and you could die out there all by yourself. If there was enough food left over from me feeding all the young bucks, I would make sure that somebody would bring some to you. And if your community wasn't looking out for you, you was too old to run away and too old to work for me. I have no need for you, so I cast you aside. Right? Isn't this how we treat our elders right now? That's because we have a culture that worships youth. we hustle backwards, right? We're looking towards the youth, you know what I'm saying, when we should be looking towards the elders, because every last one of us is going to get there. I don't care what type of pill they promise you, right? You know what I'm saying? You can delay nature, but you can't beat her. You know what I'm saying? She been at the game for a very long time, so you might as well embrace it, right? I ain't saying just allow yourself to fall to pieces, but what I'm saying is that it's inevitable. It's inevitable. You're gonna come to the end, so you might as well age gracefully, and with that, get that wisdom and pass that wisdom on. That's your power. You elders out there, that's your power. You know what I'm saying? What observations have you made? You're coming to seed now, right? You. And what does coming to seed mean? It means that when you're coming to seed, you plant the seed goes up underneath the earth, it dies, right? In a sense, it dies, and it starts regerminating, right? In a sense, you have died to the foolishness. You have an opportunity to die to the foolishness. You have an opportunity to die to the mistakes that you made in the past. You have an opportunity to die to that stuff. And what does that do? That make you wiser, because you can guide me through it. You know what I'm saying? But now we got elders, you know what I'm saying, ashamed of the fact that they're elders. You know what I'm saying? Not all y'all. You know what I'm saying? We got elders that's ashamed of the fact that they're elders, and they're not embracing their strength. You know what I'm saying? They're not embracing their strength. That's like a young man not embracing the fact that he's strong. You know what I'm saying? Elders, embrace the fact that you're old, and embrace the fact that you are wise. You know what I'm saying? Make yourself useful to the community by dispensing information, even if people not listening. Because let me say this. I was teaching a class for the Warriors today, and I was talking about the ancestors, and I was talking about our last name being like a beacon to our ancestors, where they could find us and come back through our family line because of the last name that works like a beacon. So I said, y'all know what a beacon is? They're like, nah, I don't know what a beacon is. And I told them, I said, well, if you ever been driving at nighttime and you seen them big tall poles with the red and the white lights, and if you look up at the top when you're on the expressway, you see the light that's blinking off and on to get the attention of a plane, that's a beacon, right? So I'm like, the kid's not listening, especially my son, because my son is acting crazy. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So, it just so happened that it's nighttime when we leaving, and we driving on the expressway, and he's looking at a pole, and he looks at me. He say, "Is that a beacon?" I said, "Damn, you were listening." See, elders, I want y'all to know that all your words are not going to waste. They're going to seed. And some of them sprout sooner, and some of them sprout later. You know what I'm saying? I'm running into information that my grandmother told me years ago. I'm running into information that my grandfather told me years ago. Sayings that they say, and I'm really starting to understand it. It took me a long time to understand what they meant, that you don't believe that fat meat is greasy. You know what I'm saying? Or I didn't understand what my grandma said, the baby always want to sleep on the softer side of the pillow. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't understand what my grandfather meant when he said, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you got to explain. You can't explain wisdom. It's experience, boy. You got to understand it. You know what I'm saying? And we need to start pulling some of that stuff down, because just like I'm going through some compiled wisdom, some of those sayings that our ancestors left us, that our elders are saying to us now, need to be put down so that our young people could look at them and ponder over them. I read this passage. I am 48 now. I read this when I was 21. And I'm just now, some of these proverbs are just now manifesting in my life. Excuse me, that's YouTube trying to intrude on what I'm doing. All right, so I got that one. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all got that. So let me read that one again. Said the knowledge holder. Aging is not dying, but coming to see. And then also, let's talk about this death thing, man. Is it in here? Okay, cool. We can talk, because we about to move to the next one. But death, right? We got to understand, man, for our ancestors, right? For the way we were, death wasn't a thing. I mean, we make death a major thing. Death was an initiation, right? Death was a phase. You know what I'm saying? Death was not the end. We looked at that. We looked at it differently. And because we looked at it differently, right? Because we looked at it differently, it empowered us, right? Now we look at death as an end. We look at death as a thing. We look at death as the final destination. And because we don't have the insight or even the courage to think beyond death and to think beyond the mythology that we have been given, we are put in a position of powerlessness. Why? Because we fear the death. And so, because people can hold death over our head, right? As a people, we stay stuck. Right? Just like aging, man, we need to embrace the fact that we all got to meet that. And I know for some of y'all that's going to be listening to this later, that freaks you out. That scares you. But I want to encourage you. And I want you to understand, I want you to study the thoughts of your ancestors. I mean, go ahead, look at the history, look at the great mind, but I want you to think, I want you to study the thoughts, the words, the stories, some of the deeds of your ancestors that looked at death differently. Death is a limiter. Death is limiting you right now, or the idea of death is limiting you right now, right? It's stopping you from your forward progress. You got to understand, man, this is a shell. This is a shell. And once it fades away, it cracks open and it allows that spirit that you are to come on out. Right? As an ancestor, the things that you will be able to accomplish is, if you're conscious, right? If you're conscious, you die unconscious, you got problems. Conscious, when you die conscious, you inherit power. Right? Some of us come back. Some of us choose to come back. Some of us choose to came here. And the trauma of being in this world, right? The trauma of being in this world has helped us forget, has made us forget the power that we hold. Let me make sure I'm still recording, because it's going down today. I'd like to welcome anybody to the journey who has never been to the journey. I am Brother Hatim. Of course, you know this is Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. I am your host, Brother Hatim, and this is Tribal Quotes. We do what I like to call wisdom minding. We go into the wisdom of our ancestors, and we do the hard work and break it down so that we can get those gems of wisdom that they left us, so that we do not have to repeat the same mistakes over and over again, so that we can make it through some of the rough times in our lives, because we are not the only generation that has had struggle, that have faced what we're facing. Let's understand that, all right? And of course, you know my job is to blow up your old paradigm. Let me take a sip of that, something, bro. That ambrosia. Man, this week I'm going to be bottling up some more, so some of those out there that might want to order some, feel free to hit me up, order you some ambrosia, especially during the flu season. Because nothing whoops the flu's ass like probiotics. You know what I'm saying? Nothing beat the flu up like a healthy immune system. You might get a little runny nose, but that healthy immune system knocked the hell out the flu. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what combination they throwing at you. It could be a bird flu, bull flu, food flu. You know what I'm saying? It fights it all. You know what I'm saying? HNN1, HELL, flu, all the different strands of that bullshit that they got out here. Listen to me. Listen to me. You know, because when they come, man, they coming smart. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they got these little different flus and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be flowing around. I'm telling you right now, build up your immune system. Because what the equipment that you came to this planet with is incredible. It's incredible. All you gotta do is take care of it, man. Take care of your shell, man. Take care of your shell. That's all you gotta do. Shine it up with a little bit of oil from the place where you come. Make sure you get the lubricants inside it. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you putting the right fuel inside of it so that you can live, you know what I'm saying, so that you can come to see, as the ancestors said. So now, let's move to number 2. Say the knowledge holders. Death is always a signal for birth. Death is always a signal for birth. What does that mean? My fault. Anybody want to join the conversation at 614-556-4535. But if you don't, I'm enjoying tearing these proverbs up myself. You already know, man. I'm already a warrior. My sword is sharpened. You know what I'm saying? But I love when some of my comrades want to join me on the battlefield, man. Let's smash up this enemy of ignorance that's flowing in our community, okay? So now, once again, the next proverb is, say the knowledge holders, death is always a signal for rebirth, right? So, I want you to understand, after you get to a certain age, you begin to look at life in seasons instead of these small year units, right? You start breaking down, as you start learning to break things down. Like, for example, we know that we have summer. Well, let's do it in order. We got winter, spring, summer, and fall, right? Winter, spring, summer, fall. Winter, spring, summer, fall, right? Listen, winter, right? A lot of people get mad at me for saying this. The beginning of life, or actually through death, through transformation. Spring, birth. Summer, coming of age. Fall, going into old age, middle age chip. Then you go into winter. You into the old age, death, regeneration. Back to spring. Back to summer. Back to fall. Dying, death, rebirth. Right? Cycles. Right? Our ancestors taught us to start learning how to look at the world in cycles. So when a death happens, a death of an idea, a death of an opportunity, a death of a family member, a death, something ends, or in the sense that we perceive it as an ending, we have to understand that death is a signal. It used to be a signal for us to say it's time for something new to come. Something new is arising, right? Some of us have been in relationships, and when that relationship ended, we thought it was the end of the world, but then we ran into that one, right? Many of us have lost jobs, you know what I'm saying? And it's the end of the world, and things are horrible, but then all of a sudden, that opportunity. Many of us failed a class, right? And we thought it was the end of the world, and all of a sudden, that's the way life works. We always got to go through that old age of winter. We gotta go through that, right? You know what I'm saying? Because that is the coming, through that comes the transformation. And in that transformation, that's the signal for birth, right? Because within that within that dying process, it's also a birth process. You know, I mean, I have heard it said, because I never had a baby, but they say having a baby is the closest that an individual could come to death. Matter of fact, my Native American brothers do the sun dance to kind of celebrate the fact that the woman is pushing herself through death, so they figure they could do the same thing. Yo, our traditional peoples, man, around these planets have some dope wisdom. We missing it because we getting caught up in the fact, oh, they didn't wear clothes like we wear clothes, or they wasn't civilized, or they didn't write down their culture. They just told stories. Ha 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 ha. We write stuff down, right? And a lot of y'all got all this book knowledge, but you ain't got the knowledge. You can't think your way out of paper bag. But yet these traditional people could tell you, can demonstrate for you how to live a happy life. Do you not know that it baffles people how they could go to some of these countries where people are supposedly third world and they're living a better quality of life than you? Do you understand that? They're living a better quality of life. They don't got the things you got. They don't got cable TV. They don't got cell phones. But in some of these places, these people have absolutely nothing, and they live a better life than you. Actually, they get to live life. You get to watch it. So it's something to the fact that our ancestors have wisdom, man, and we're missing it because we have become arrogant in what we think we know. I can wear sweaters to work and stay warm. You know what I'm saying? I got my cell phone. You know what I'm saying? I can watch anything I want. Right? I can pick up a book. You know what I'm saying? Our ancestors' book was nature. And by watching the cycles over and over again and coming to seed and passing that wisdom on and coming to age and getting that wisdom and passing that wisdom on, they were able to build wisdom over generations. We've been watching the cycles of nature for over 50,000 years, and we learned more, we forgot more back then than we know now. So understand, when ancestors talk about, say words like, death is always a signal for birth, you best believe it's real. You best believe it's real, right? A death. When you experience a death, right? Because like I said, in this culture, you have been miseducated about death. Death is not the end. Death is a rebirth. Death is an initiation. You move into another phase. We're mourning for us when somebody passes away. Let's be honest about it. Many of us are crying out of our selfishness of wanting to be with that person, rather than using our tears to push them off into where they need to be. And also, I always go back to this: are we paying the respect? We don't pay respect to our elders, and we don't pay respect to our ancestors. Are we pouring those libations? Are we sitting around telling those stories of individuals that were in our life to friends, family, and especially to the children, so that the stories can pass on? Because hell for black folks, hell for Africans was being forgotten. Yo, fam, I mean, this the bottom line. Hell for Africans is being forgotten. It ain't fire and brimstone. It's your bloodline forgetting you. When you are forgotten, that shows that you have not lived a life worthy of being celebrated. When people die, I always ask the question, especially my elders, I said, did they live a good life? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's a Gye-Nyame thing, but if they lived a good life, all right, boom, let's share the tear. Let's toast them up. You know what I'm saying? Let's celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Because their passing is a signal for you. There's a rebirth coming. There's a birth coming. They're being reborn in another incarnation that you don't understand. And you're sitting up here crying for you. And be clear about that. I'm crying for when my grandmother died. I ain't crying for my grandmother. I cried for me. I wasn't gonna have another hurt. You know what I'm saying? Listen, my grandmother's prayers was the shit. I made it through college. I made it through a lot of fuckery that I was doing in my young life because of my grandmother's prayer. I honestly believe that. Right? I'm crying for me. My grandmother all right. My grandfather all right. My other grandmother they all right. You know what I'm saying? They passed their initiation. They lived their life. They passed their initiation. They moved on to the ancestral realm. They could look out for me better over there than they could here. But we don't embrace that no more. We don't look at life like that no more. We're caught up in this West Asian way of thinking, right? Death is the end, my friend. Right? Death, right? We fear it. And because we fear it, we're enslaved by it. Right? We do everything to try to escape it. Right? When in fact, there's no escape from it. Why the fuck you running from something that you can't get away from? Why you limiting your life based on something that you can't escape? Let me go and hurry up because I try to keep this within an hour, fam. Proverb number 3. Say the knowledge holders. In rituals are life formula. Wait a minute, hold on. I told y'all to share and contact a friend. Like, subscribe, and share. Listen, this one right here, if you don't get it, you don't need it. It is not for you. If you don't understand it, that's too bad. You need to get some more experience in life. Listen to what the elder said. Listen to what the elder pulled from my ancestors and put in the book. I hope it's not shooting over your head. I pray that it's not shooting over your head. I pour for you and I mourn for you if you do not understand what this man just laid down in this book. This right here is the key to you being whatever you want to be in your life. This is the key to you being free. This is the key to us being free. This man just laid it out for us right here, right now, in less than a 10-word sentence. Y'all, it boggles my mind, man. This free. I found this book for free. In rituals, a life formula. What's a formula? Huh? What's a formula? Is a recipe. What is a recipe? A recipe is something that you use to create something, right? Usually something that could be consumed to help you in your survival. Something that could be consumed to bring you joy. Something that could be consumed to make you better, okay? Right? In ritual, are life formula. Life formulas, life recipes. How many want happy lives? How many want prosperous lives? How many want joyful lives? He didn't just say, he said life formula or life formula, right? There's a recipe for the type of life you want to live. And it's based in the ritual that you practice for your life. Let me show you how important rituals are, right? Why do people get upset when you don't stand for the national anthem? Why can you lose your job if you don't ceremonially hang yourself every morning if it's a required part of the uniform? Ritual, right? What is ritual? Ritual is a systematic process. It's a systematic process of doing something consciously. And in some cases, unconsciously. Ritual are life formula. What rituals do you have in your life that you practice on a regular basis, on even a daily basis? I'm guaranteeing you that those individuals that are living the life that you want, right? That you want, have some type of ritual that they're going through every day. I'm guaranteeing that every people that have been successful throughout time have rituals that they go through, that they not only go through, but they make their enemies and their conquered people go through. Rituals are life formula. Right? What rituals do you practice? And how do they add to your life? See, because when you get a real ritual, you not only get a good feeling from the ritual, you also see things moving in the reality that you live. You get you experience a ritual on all 5 levels of human existence: intuition, mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. I don't think y'all hear me. I really don't. I don't think I'm baffled. No, I'm not even baffled. I totally understand. I understand, because it's like, for some of us, it's just like, I might as well just be on YouTube doing what some of them girls be doing. You know what I'm saying? Get all types of likes and shit. You know what I'm saying? Take off my shirt and shit. It's amazing to me, right? Free wisdom. This book costed me $18. When I first started buying it, it was $7. Now it's 18. In a minute, it'll be discarded, and we won't even be able to get it. Right? This is going to my kids. This one right here. And I got another one hidden. I'm not playing. Rituals are life formula. What rituals are you practicing? What is the ends of the ritual? What is the goal of the ritual? But hey, we at 10 o'clock. Last one says, in life is experience for wisdom. We already spoke about that. The first one, this makes time a matter of degree if one understands one's own clock. In life is experience for wisdom. This makes time a matter of degree if one understands one owns clock. Right? You understand. You solve the riddle of the universe. You start learning to stop looking at stuff in small increments of moments, and you're able to look at it in chunks, and you're able to pick out patterns, because you're able to look at time as degrees, because what you understand is that the history don't repeat itself, but it sure the hell do rhyme. Right? That might have went over. Did you get that? Right? History might not repeats itself, but it sure do rhyme. Now, those of you that understand rhyme and understand the art of rhyme making, you know what I'm talking about. Right? You know what I'm saying? So, if I had ancestors go through something called a Great Depression, can I get wisdom from them on how to make it through what we're going through right now? Can I? Is it something I can learn from them and pass on to my kids to make them better? And is it going to be something that my children are going to be able to learn from me? You know what I'm saying? Pass it on in degrees, right? All right, but yo, this is Brother Hot Tim. I want to thank everybody for that took the time to at least stop in. You know what I'm saying? And wipe your feet on the Gye-Nyame mat. You know what I'm saying? I want to send shots out to, once again, let's go back. My brother Sai, thank you for stepping in. Stephanie, my Uncle Carl Brown, Jill Jackson, Doris Opori, Leslie Davis, Cynthia Poindexter Carr, S.I. Rivers, Calvin Middlebrook, and Juan Rollins. Right? I want to send shouts out to all those people that's tuning in. Hopefully you got something from it. You know what I'm saying? I try to keep these under an hour. I'm a couple of minutes over right now. But with that, I am out.